Well, being a stepmom isn't as easy as Carol Brady once made it seem. Sarah Paterson's the founder of Social Stepmom. She's here with ideas and anecdotes that blended families can relate to. Thanks very much for joining us. Start off, I have to do a shout out to my stepmom. She's awesome. Yay. Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you, Annette, for having me. And it is so nice to hear you doing that sort of thank you to your stepmom, because being a stepmom is so difficult. It can be very challenging. And so when I became a stepmom, there was nothing out there. I was just thrown into it, and I had no idea what to do.
Right, and you're in an unusual situation because you're not dealing just with one other mom. You're dealing with two. So there's 3 moms in your family.
3 moms and 7 children.
And 1 dad.
And 1 dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do the dynamics work? I mean, is there a seniority thing? Like...
No.
No.
At least not in my mind. No. But I mean, logistically, it is very difficult and challenging. And I'm sure many stepmoms can relate to the balancing act of juggling, either their stepkids' schedules, different meal times, parenting styles, as well as, we have a flight of kids, right? So the emotional needs of one kid is not the same as the other.
Right.
So it's a little tough.
And how do you do that then? You have your own children as well. So how do you do that? Okay, so you're parenting them the way you want to do that.
Yes.
How does that then work with the other kids where it's like, okay, do you get, you're not my mom,
yes,
kind of thing?
Yeah, the implication, yes. But we all love each other. We have a great relationship, so we try to work those out. And my suggestion to stepmoms is to address anything that comes their way. So if it's a different parenting style, just explain that parenting style within your household. So you just have to have lots of communication. When I first started, there was no resources out for me, and I didn't know those things. And I found that very difficult because stepmoms don't want to step on toes. They want to be respectful. And it's hard. They don't know where to walk.
Yes.
Right, especially around sort of Mother's Day. We recently did a Lipsis survey,
in
the survey,
how did you do Mother's Day?
Yeah, so we do Stepmom's Day, but most 54% of stepchildren say they're not as important as their mom, which I totally get. But 87% said that their stepchildren are equal as their biological children.
Right.
I love my stepchildren equally as I love my children. I know people say, oh, well, maybe, but I do. I treat them and love them equally. So, when I explain something to my stepchild, I will say something like, I love you so much that this is my approach. I could not worry about you, but I do because I love you, and here it is.
Okay.
And then they kind of get it. Right? Or they'll think about it, and at least they know it's coming from a loving approach.
Right.
And that's why I started Social Stepmom, to bring the resources out to all those stepmoms that need the help, or that need a comfort, a voice to bounce off of. And
what's the number one concern with stepmoms on your site?
Is
there one that stands out?
The number one concern is feeling like you're in it alone. Us stepmoms, it's hard to go to the dad because they're in such a difficult position to sort of, when challenges come up, it's their children.
Because they're kind of the connector, right?
Right. So, they have a whole balancing act themselves. So sometimes, and I think 54% of the Lipsis survey said that they didn't feel like they were supported by their other half. So, that I feel is very challenging. When you can't go in a normal, with my kids, I can go to my husband and say, oh my God, here's what happened, and he can be very supportive. When it's the other child, there's another person involved parenting, so it becomes more difficult.
Right.
So what we've done is we're providing that sort of help, or someone to lean on, the support that they may not be getting. Us stepmoms aren't getting at home.
Right. And getting advice too of when to kind of pull back and say, okay, this isn't what I should be doing.
Right. Yes. So there is that fine line, and it's very difficult to know what it is.
Right. And it's all about communication, right? And doing it right from the start.
And even that communication can be tricky. You might not say the right thing, or you'll upset them. Whereas, if you upset your own child, they're going to love you no matter what. Whereas, depending on the ages of the children, they're going to go, I want to go see my mom.
Right.
Or I want to go see my dad if it's the opposite scenario.
Right. So lots of things to cover there. Sarah, we'll get a link up to your website as well. Thanks very much for coming in. Very important topic.
Thank you.